Hi there, this is Adele from Naked.Divorce. I want to talk about how difficult it is to go through divorce in the later stage of your life, concept of what we call grey divorce. You've been married for 25, 30 plus years and you're divorcing at that last kind of final stage of your life. This is one of the most traumatic changes that people can go through, and it's a large portion of clients that we have are people that are going through grey divorce. So I want you to kind of look out for some of these kind of areas and things and listen to some of the pointers that we have that are quite key, so you can settle yourself if you feel like you're at risk of or going through a grey divorce at the moment. So the first thing is, divorce is a shame-based identity crisis. It is quite a large and unsettling trauma to overcome because you are dealing with the failure of something and the loss of something that you identified your entire self with. And particularly if you've been married for 25, 30 plus years, your entire identity would have been wrapped up in being a married person. Divorcing at that later stage can cause a complete identity crisis for a lot of people. Also, real feelings of shame and guilt and blame, and that can make people really introverted and pulling into themselves. And that makes it doubly hard to go through that kind of crisis at that stage of life. Financial kind of challenges associated to it can also be massively unsettling. If you're going through divorce when you've been planning your whole life for this particular house that we're living in, this particular retirement, this amount of settlement, assets that we've accumulated, now suddenly all of that is in jeopardy, massively unsettling for people. Health insurance can also be massively unsettling for people. You might have been used to being on a shared policy and now you've got to find affordable health insurance on your own. Your social circle is also related to the two of you as a couple, and now your social circle is a bit discombobulated by the fact that the two of you are now apart. So the lack of social support that people get through this stage can make people feel really isolated, and that can lead to acute levels of depression and trauma kind of response. Another thing is the living arrangements changing can be really unsettling, not just for yourself, but also with your adult children, not knowing how this is all supposed to be panning out, where they're supposed to call home now. And then finally, from an emotional perspective, that identity crisis and figuring out who you now are, and the fear of aging alone can be hugely unstabilizing or destabilizing for people. So some key things that you really need to do during this stage, if you're going through a grey divorce, you've got to get support. A lot of the people in your community, are not necessarily going to be understanding or not know how to support you through this crucial life stage. So finding external support for what you're going through is vital to getting yourself back. Because the biggest thing with divorce that you're losing, it's not actually the marriage dissolving itself, it's losing yourself and completely unsettling your identity and who you now are now that you're no longer going to be married. And getting help and support during that stage is really vital. Next thing is making sure that you have a really good routine and really good health and focus on your own kind of stability and your center and your groundedness during this time. Sticking to your routines and sticking to a certain mode of operating is going to help you during this time. And the third thing that you can really think about is making sure that you follow a bit of a daily checklist or a daily activity of events. A lot of people that go through trauma, they hide and they become really insular and their routine goes out of the window completely. When that happens, you're going to destabilize even further. So keeping to basics, making sure you get up every day, you shower, you get dressed, and you start activating some behavior is going to help pull you out of yourself and start to, re-energize yourself towards the future. Getting help is really crucial though, particularly because most of your community are not necessarily going to know how to help you, and that can be really isolating. So if you need some help and support during this time, be sure to book a clarity call. But if you're finding yourself suffering, do know that this is one of the toughest things that people can go through. In some ways, I would say that divorce at this later stage life is even harder than going through a bereavement.